Everyone, welcome to another video from me, your host Richard Bezuidenhout, and this is Richard Talks. And today we are talking something that I feel we all struggle with, and it's productivity systems. We all want to try and be more productive. We feel that workloads sometimes get the better of us. And how do we stay on top of things? So let's talk about the 5 productivity systems that I use in my daily life to help me stay on top of things and increase my productivity, which really means I can increase my revenue. Now, isn't that great when we can increase our revenue? So the first system is not so much a system, but if you don't do this part, you're going to find yourself going around in circles and not really being focused enough. And this in itself is not a system, but this is really so important. And this is goals. Can you see we're scoring a goal? Don't judge my artwork. But these are the goals. So if you don't set any goals, if the goals aren't set, you aren't clear about firstly what you're working on, and more importantly what you're working towards, you're gonna find yourself going around in circles in the washing machine of being busy but not really being productive. And there's no point in being busy if you aren't working towards goals, whether that's goals for your life, for your corporate, your work, to achieve something. You don't just want to be doing something for the sake of doing it. You actually want to be able to know where you are trying to head. So even though it might not be so very obvious, like having goals, maybe with better drawings, is really, really important when you are trying to be more productive. Number 2 for me, this is so important because it's really how we see our busyness in life, is a calendar. No, it's not a building, it's an icon for a calendar. Come on guys. I started using a calendar system in 2020, and I made a video about how to stay motivated when the music's not playing. And really what I just started out testing that system during that time, and now it's integrated into everything that I do. I use my calendar as a visual aid to help me understand, firstly, what did I do today or what did I do this week, and I can quite easily see. By this example of my actual calendar, you can see sort of what I was busy with last week, and it was quite a busy week for me. And I use different colors, and there's all sorts of things that I do with my calendar, which I'll talk about later in one of the other productivity systems that I use. But the calendar is a fantastic visual aid. It also allows you to block off little bits of your calendar and dedicate that to work, or items that you want to focus on, whether that's reading a book, whether that's taking some lunch, whether that's going for a walk. You want to put all of those things in the calendar, and so that it just helps you understand sort of where you were and what you did, so you don't get to the end of the day and try to think like, oh, what did I do? I didn't do anything, I wasn't whatever. So a calendar system is very easy to apply, and you can use any calendar that exists out there today. It's just a visual aid that helps you see what you did and also what you're going to do. Now, my third productivity system that I use to stay on top of my work and get more productive so I can do more and earn more and also live a balanced, healthy life is notes, task, and an organizer. So we need notes, task, and organizer. Put this in sort of one thing. I got the project management as well. So because in the beginning I started using things sort of just like a notepad, keeping notes, and then I started to need like a project management tool, and then I started to need a task management tool, and then I saw some of the needs grew, but they were all sort of in different places. And so I found that using some sort of application that allows you to do note taking, allows you to create tasks, allows you to stay sort of some sort of organizational thing was really useful. And I use Notion, and Notion for me is a great tool. I know that there are other tools out there very similar to Notion. You may have one already that you use. I have used Asana in the past. There are tons of them that are out there, including Airtable. I cannot take up all the time just to talk about the different tools out there. But the point is that you start to use something that allows you to have a multi-medium of note-taking. You know, whether that's a task list or a project board or just a general notes. You want to be able to organize that together and be able to see sort of just the headlines in one place instead of just a Word document or folder structure. I find that a tool like Notion is really great in crafting ideas before they actually end up on my calendar for me to start working on. So number 4, that is 4 fingers right there. So number 4 is automation. Automation, but how can you automate a productivity system? Well, there are certain things that we do every day that can be automated. One of the tools that I use, for example, is I'm quite active on social media, or at least I like to think so. But if I spend all of my time trying to get onto social media and post at the right time, it'll take up too much of my day. I did actually do that for a long time, and it can be very time consuming. So you get caught up in what social media platforms are there to do. They want you to keep scrolling, scroll some more. So I use a scheduling tool, and there are 2 tools in particular. CoSchedule is the one that I use right now. It's perfect. There's a free tool available if you are interested. It allows you 2 social media accounts and 5 scheduled posts at a time, which is ample. Or there's the other tool that I also use, which is Hootsuite. All of them have links in the description, so you can take advantage of those free accounts and set that up and start scheduling your posts. It doesn't mean that I'm not actually active and physically present on the social media platforms. It just means that when I do that, it's something that's blocked in my diary, that I've actually carved out time to go back into social media, to interact with people that have left comments or likes on my posts. So that's one area where you can start automating or create automation and stay more productive. You can also use a tool like I use Notion to any ideas of posts that I think, wow, this will be a really cool post. I just pop it into Notion, make a quick note about it, and then leave it there. And then I can come back to it at another day and I fill it out with a little bit more context or the story. And then when that's ready, I'll put it into the scheduling tool, and then it sort of lines up and it's ready to go out. And so those kind of systems working together is a great way for you to stay more productive, and also that you can get more consistent in posting out on social media. Another tool that I use to stay productive in the automation framework is Calendly. Now, I often get emails requesting time or meetings or some discussion, and it's lots of people together, whether it's for my clients or whether it's the personal one-on-one, someone reaching out to me to talk about something personal. I send them a Calendly link. Now, I don't do it with any disrespect, but I do it actually because I respect that person's time. I don't want to go back and forward with email exchanges about when are you available, how's Tuesday at 2:30, oh no, I've got a golf appointment or whatever it is, and then coming back and go. So it takes more time to set up the meeting than the meeting's actually going to take. So what I do is I use Calendly. I use the free account for a very long time, and you can use that to send a link to people, and they can choose a time that works for them. As well as in your email signature, you can actually have free time slots that people can choose from to automatically schedule a meeting. So there you go. Automation. Want to create some automation to help you be a bit more productive. Okay, we've been through the 4 productivity systems that I use in my daily routine to stay productive, to stay on top of my workload and get ahead. So again, setting your goals is the most important thing, because everything else is to help you fulfill the goals that you want to achieve. Now, let's focus on some general things that I do in my productivity system. And these are important because even though they're just general, they don't fit into any specific bucket, they do help me stay productive. So the number one thing in this general category is your phone. So I don't even have my phone with me right now because I'm busy, and the phone is a big distraction when trying to stay on top of things. Notifications especially, I turn off all notifications on my phone. Actually don't have any active, so that if I want to see what's going on, I go and look at my phone. One of the things I also do is I turn off all notifications on the browser on my laptop, so that because I'm busy working, I don't want to be distracted by whatever pop-up happens to come along. Now, you know, the general category, I put a phone there because it's quite a big thing that people get distracted, or any kind of device. And so using that, just putting it in another room, not sort of on its side where it's still on vibrate. You actually want to put it in another room when you're busy working, and you block that time in your calendar. It says, I'm spending the next 45 minutes just working on this part of a problem, because you've set your goals. That just helps you get through a lot of work very, very quickly, actually be more productive than you've ever been. Now, in the past, I used to just put my phone in another room. But what I've actually started doing now is I've started to leave my phone when I take lunch. So I know it's the weirdest thing, but I've found that because now I was maybe catching up with sort of some messages on my phone in the time that I was busy working, when I'm taking a break or when I'm on my lunch, that I still don't feel like I've gotten any rest, or that I never really had that break. So I do have time for my phone, and I'm not a robot, I promise you, I'm not a robot. But just when I'm trying to be productive, when I'm trying to get my work done, I know to get rid of the phone, get rid of any device. And when you are taking a break, take a walk, you know, look at the sky, listen to the birds, whatever it is that you need to do. Just be silent, whatever it is, but don't spend that time on your phone. Maybe as part of it, maybe for the first 10 minutes, don't have your phone with you, and then pick up your phone and then jolly on your way. But for the first couple of minutes, don't bother with your phone. And then in this last category, now this may not affect many of you, but I'm starting to realize just what an effect it's had on me, is my relationship with alcohol. I have not had any alcohol for the last 4 months, and I'm finding that I'm a lot more productive than I've ever been. And alcohol in itself is not a problem, but the slow habits that we start to develop when we have something like alcohol, whether that's even coffee or sugar or any of those things. For me, it was alcohol. Maybe in the evening you'd have a beer or a glass of wine, and then you'd carry on with some work. Now, that's the category that I thought I was in. But over the last couple of years, I realized that that beer started to become 2 beers, and then sometimes 3 beers. You know, and it would be 1, 2, 3, 4 nights in the week, sometimes every night of the week. And it was really a habit that was developing that I didn't really want to be part of my life. And because of the effects of alcohol, I started to not actually focus on my work that I could have done. So whether it was writing a new article or working through some ideas that I have, you know, I wouldn't really do those things. I'd just have a beer and I'm so tired, I need to relax. Now, I do understand that that might not be your situation, but for me that was. I needed to take some reflection of my relationship with alcohol and decided rather just to cut it out for a long time. I'm not sure how long, but I just want to cut that out. And like with anything, if you're trying to be more productive, it means less of a lot of other things and more focus on the things that you want to achieve. So I'm curious about all of these systems. Which of these systems do you actually use in your daily routine to stay productive? And which ones am I not using that I should be using? I'd love to hear from you and get your feedback on what you're using to stay productive today. Thanks everyone, my name is Rish Bezaidnot, and this has been another episode of Future Talks and how to be productive. Cheers.